Ooh.
Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. It's your host, Natasha Leggero, and
What are you doing, NPR voice now?
Here with Moshe Cather.
Oh, that was you added the list at the end. I got to tell you, Natasha is one of the most obnoxious people to listen to, literally. And by the way,
we
hold
don't
on
like
a
the
second.
Same podcast.
No. But by the way, let me say, as a feminist, you're problematic. Because anytime I listen to any podcast with a female host, you start ripping them.
No, I don't like the kinds of podcasts you listen to. I don't like the male voices. I don't like the female voices. I don't like human interest stories. I don't want to hear about like one person who like, played the lotto and then they were able to win it, and against all odds they were able to like open.
What does that have to do with making fun of women's voices? That's what I would like to know. Because you don't often say this content isn't for me. You say, who is this lisped lady and how did she get a job in radio?
I don't like that guy that everybody likes.
Oh,
that you always listen to.
Don't say. Let's move on.
I'm going to. I want to say it.
I'm trying. No.
Is it worse than making fun of Taylor Swift?
Listen, it doesn't matter because Taylor Swift isn't going to.
What's his name? He seems like he fucks all the time, but he's like really
Natasha.
What?
Taylor Swift is never going to have me on her podcast to potentially promote my book.
Who's that guy?
It doesn't matter.
He has a lisp.
It doesn't matter.
Who am I talking about?
I don't want to do it.
Why?
Because it could affect whether or not I can be on his podcast at some point.
Okay, well, beef it. But you like him, but I don't. So he'll definitely have you on.
No.
He talks like this, and he's always like, "Oh yeah, we have a great."
No, you know.
What are you, a character from The Simpsons? Anyway, the point of it all is, the point of all of this is, what was the point of all of this?
Curly gray hair.
Stop saying it. Don't do it. It's just so obvious.
Oh, man. You're no fun.
I'm a lot of fun. I just need to promote my book.
He's not going to have you on. I bet he only lets hot chicks on.
Uh-huh. Anyway, all that said.
Ira Glass.
Oh, my God. Why? I mean, it's why? Ira, I just want you to know, I don't support this.
Ira, we love you.
He won't have me on if my wife is talking shit about him.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
It's not.
Would you have someone on? Would you have?
I don't care what someone's like.
You wouldn't. You would have
you're
someone.
You're not your own person.
You would have someone on if you cracked open an episode of Tiger Belly, and Kalila was like, I heard Moshe is a little dick piece of shit, greedy Jew bitch.
They have better.
And then Bobby called and
numbers
said,
than us. So yeah, I would go do it. And you would tell me to as well.
Anyway, Natasha.
Yes.
Did you have something you wanted to bring up this week other than trashing one of the icons of media?
Hey, I'm sure there's people out there who he rubs the wrong way too.
Who? Bobby?
No, the other guy.
What do you mean? You are one of those people.
I know. I think that there's probably a group of us. I'm trying to like stand up and like.
Well, I don't know why you would do that, but
okay.
That's your call.
Moshe's getting ready for Burning Man.
Hell yeah,
really
I am.
excited to
Can't
get him
wait
out
to
of the
get
house
here.
for about 7 days.
Yeah, I'm stoked too.
You can listen to whatever the thing is that guy hosts. All those 9 podcasts that you love so much.
It's called This American Life. It's the best podcast. It literally is the best podcast.
It's not as good as the Endless Honeymoon podcast.
Oh, other than the Endless Honeymoon podcast, it's the best podcast. It goes.
Maybe to you.
It goes it's subjectively. It goes Endless Honeymoon podcast, This American Life. After that comes The Daily, and then right after that is Daddy Please, or what is that one called, Laura? Oh, Call Her Daddy. Then after that comes No Jumper. Then after that comes BBC World Services. Then after that comes Thickness or Length. It's a podcast about penis size. And
listen, let me just say to Ira, it's just a personal preference. I don't like pithy human interest stories that touch your heart and make you feel, all good inside.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not going to get asked to do the podcast, and it seems likely I won't either at this point.
Like intellectual sparring and things that are like, if I'm going to listen to a podcast. Anyway.
Ready to go to Burning Man, trying to get some DJ gigs while I'm out there, actually. If anybody knows anything. One guy contacted us to try to have me speak at his camp, but I finally contacted him, and he said they're out of spots now. But he said I could interview Grover Norquist in moderation.
Wow,
I'm
you've
like,
made it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be pass.
How can you make fun of Grover Norbit on this podcast?
Because he's a evil, weird, libertarian psycho.
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, well, that's who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I am sorry that you're leaving.
No, you're
I hate
not.
to see you go.
But you can't wait to see me walk away?
Our daughter just started kindergarten. It's been a very emotional week for us all.
Oh, yeah. It's been primarily emotional because our daughter, Adolf, there's another Adolf in the class.
No, I don't even mention her name because I am so, not even for her protection, because I just don't want anyone to copy me.
Right.
And
you're an icon too. I've
painstakingly kept her name from the public in a paranoid I was like, oh, someone else could hear it and then it could become a big baby name. There's another one in her class.
There's another little Adolf.
I'm so annoyed.
It's pretty annoying, but you know what? You know what's interesting about it?
It sucks.
Guess who doesn't care?
Who?
Our Adolf.
She doesn't care.
She's not plussed by it at all. They walk down the hallway apparently, and Adolf says, hi, Adolf, and other Adolf says, hi, Adolf. They think it's cute. And in fact, I asked our daughter Adolf who her favorite kid in the class was. She said Adolf. So what are you going to do? They don't give a shit. It's just you and your internet vanity.
It's true.
Although I got to say it bothered me too. But who cares?
I don't know. I just really liked having a name that was unique that no one else had.
Well, Nick Thune, friend of the pod, told us that he was in class in kindergarten, as I pronounce it, kindergarten, and with the teacher, there was two Nicholases, and the teacher just arbitrarily decided, Nick Thune, you're Nick. Nicholas, whoever, you're Nicholas. And then the mom got involved and said, why would you change my child's name? And our friend Nick said it was too late. And to this day, he's Nick, and the other guy is still Nicholas. And that's that. So, maybe we'll find out that little Adolf is Adolphy soon.
I don't know.
We have a friend who has a 3-year-old who decided that they didn't want their name, and they changed their name. They said, I want to be called this character from Toy Story, and they just let her do it. And now she's that character. Now she's called Buzz Lightyear, if you can believe it.
All right. Well, anything else going on, Moshe, that you wanted to discuss?
Well, I'm ramping up. Anybody got any hot DJ gigs for me out on the Playa? I'm open and ready for that. I did that wedding. I recorded it. I got a hot recording for that ass.
So Moshe did so well.
On his
DJ set.
Why don't you tell the people how people reacted to my set at the wedding?
Unfortunately, it was like the dance floor, which was the forest floor. So I understand it was not that poppin'. But then after Moshe got on, after 2 other DJs.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
What was crazy? Tell everybody.
Everybody was dancing.
I turned the party out?
You did. And then so much so, I saw someone come up to you and they were like, hey, would you have any interest in DJing at blah, blah, blah at Burning Man? And you were like, what? And so now you've been practicing up in the room ever since.
I will say that offer has been 50% rescinded. I got a text. Oh, they're short on sets, but on slots, but there might be one. So that doesn't sound too promising. The point of this all, though, is that Natasha, though she came to scoff, remained to dance. I turned the party out. People liked it.
It was impressive.
You were impressed?
I was impressed.
Did you get turned on?
I don't know if that exactly happened. I mean, something else has happened that I'm actually really upset about.
Wait, well, we were just talking about positive things.
Well, it has to do with your DJing. My algorithm has shifted.
It has nothing to do with me.
It does, because my whole Spotify algorithm now is dance music and like Afro-Cuban techno.
This is the most hilarious.
It's true.
This is the most hilarious misinterpretation of your own bad decisions that you've been doing this last week. Natasha's algorithm on her Spotify all of a sudden it's not Afro-Cuban. You wish it was Afro-Cuban dance hits. What it is it's dance music. And you think it's because I've been in the other room DJing and it's somehow like Siri heard it, ported it to Alexa, who ported it to Spotify, who then decided to poison your algorithm. In fact, what it is that you have been playing the Barbie theme song to our daughter like 90 times in heavy rotation. And that is why you're getting techno hits in your Spotify.
Okay, well I did play that song. That's the only song she wants to hear.
How would your algorithm know what I've been DJing?
I don't know.
This is pure paranoia.
I learned something else about myself.
Yes.
I don't want to hear beat drops in the afternoon. Like, I'm hanging out. Like, why is there a beat dropping? There's a contractor here. Like, it's not party time.
I'm practicing.
I like it on...
You don't like it ever.
I like it on the dance floor for a wedding.
No,
that was
don't.
fun.
No, you don't. You weren't even dancing.
But when I'm reheating my coffee, like, no.
You weren't even dancing. It's called practice. I was
dancing.
You think I want to hear fucking Tchaikovsky or Nelly Furtado or whatever?
Nelly Furtado. I do try to like drown it out with classical music.
Or whatever it is you're doing when you do your piano lessons. You do your thing. I do mine. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, listen, this might be our last podcast.
You're married to a musician and you don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I think we should take a call. We got people waiting.
All right, let's do it.
Nelly Furtado. Where'd you get that?
Don't you do like pop hits sometimes?
No.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, you mean on piano? Like I played Adele before.
Adele, yeah, things like that. Adele, Nelly Furtado, Adele Furtado. Ooh, we should open a deli called Adele Furtado.
I mean, Adele's straight up good.
I
don't think.
You think Nelly Furtado's bad?
If I'm remembering right, yes. But don't listen to me. You know my taste.
Yeah, it's Barbie song. But I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Literally, our kid gets in the car and she's like, Barbie song?
Actually, what's funny what's funny about that song is it's so clearly made for kids and it's about Barbie, but the whole song is about like Ken fingering Barbie. He's just like, I'll come over and I feel you up. You feel me up? Let's put body into body. It's just like, it's so pornographic.
Our kid's like, what's hanky panky?
Hanky panky. I want to start doing using making whoopee again. Can we bring that back?
I don't like it.
I know you don't like making whoopee, but I'm saying the term.
I don't think people would like it.
Making whoopee?
Yeah, it's a bit dated.
Yeah, it might be dated.
It's a little dated.
It's dated. All right, guys, we got a call. We're going to talk to Abby here in Los Angeles, California. Sunny LA, home of Hurricane Hillary. We survived the hurricane.
I'm not trying to laugh at the hurricane, but they did close schools down in LA. And it was like, they closed them down at like 5 p.m. the night before. And then it rained for like 4 hours. And then
bring her in. Literally,
the whole storm warning was canceled by 10 p.m.
Abby.
And I had to, cancel all my plans.
Abby, how did you fare in the hurricane? Oh, you're muted. Oh, that's what happened. You lost audio. Hurricane Hillary came and took.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's quite a hurricane we dealt with, huh?
Yeah, it was a massive storm.
It was crazy. Hurricane Hillary. It rained.
It rained and then it was sunny.
It wasn't even that it.
No wind.
There was no wind. It wasn't even kind of windy. It was not windy. It was still. All was still in the town of Los Angeles. Abby, how can we help?
I just wanted to get some advice on something.
Hell yeah, kick it.
Okay, so it's not really a relationship thing, but it relates to my relationship. I dating someone who's significantly older than me. I'm in my 30s, so it's not that weird.
How old is he?
I know that when people see us in public, I can tell people are staring, and it might just be because I'm paranoid, but I was just kind of wondering if you had any advice on like how I can get over that, because the relationship is really good.
How old is he?
63.
Oh dang, that's real. That's real right there.
And you're 30?
I'm 31.
Have you dated an old guy before?
Yes.
I like it. Natasha's writing this down like she's got a checklist of things. She's like,
well, I mean, this is a 30 plus year difference.
It's pretty real.
Even out of my realm. I think the most I ever did was 20.
This is interesting. Now, where did you guys?
Years.
Where did you guys meet? Like at a Jimmy Buffett concert?
Is he like in the silent generation?
Basically.
He's not even a. He's a
boomer. He is a boomer.
63's boomer. Okay.
He's a classic boomer. And where did you meet?
Oh, just around.
You don't want to say?
I don't want to be specific.
Okay, I have
Can you be general though? Can you be general enough to not call yourself? What genre of place did you meet? A dialysis clinic? Okay, a concert. Okay, so
can you say who you saw?
No, she doesn't want to say that.
Okay.
Are we in the classic rock realm? Are we talking Tchaikovsky?
Yeah,
classic rock. Okay, because that could happen. We went to Neil Young, and there were some duffers there that we could have bumped into. If we were both single.
Do you guys have a good sexual relationship?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, everything's great. Like my friends all like him. I mean, my parents have met him. We've been together for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
How old's your dad?
That's a great question, Natasha. What a wonderful.
He's younger. He's younger than that.
Oh, he's younger than that. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
What's your dad think of him?
My parents both like him a lot.
They don't care.
Mm-mm.
Interesting. Okay. I think we're rounding the bend on what to do here. Now, is he? Let me ask you a really probably rude question. Even though everything up until this point has been incredibly polite, is he hot 63 or is he like look 63 hardcore?
I think he looks younger than 63. Like I'm really attracted to him. I didn't start dating older guys till I was older. Like I wasn't dating older guys when I was like in my early 20s because I thought that was weird. I know age gap stuff like discourse is like really,
power dynamic
issue with people.
You talking power dynamic and stuff like that?
I mean,
we're really good about like both of us like acknowledging potential imbalances in power and that sort of thing. That's really important to me. So like that, everything's like really healthy and good.
Truth is, you've got a pretty hardcore imbalance in power as well, which is in the power of your vascular system. Your heart's going to be pumping real hard, even as his winds down.
Does he have children?
Yeah.
Any older than you?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's positive. Now, has he been married?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. You called asking, what do I do about what people say?
That's
and
true.
The truth is, if he's 63 and you're 30 and you look really young, people are going to think not only he's your dad, but that he's your grandpa. And it's just part of it, Yeah. Like I remember when I was 23, I looked like I was fucking 13.
I wish I'd met you then.
I had a boyfriend who was 43, and whenever we'd go out in public, I would hear people saying, they'd be like, man, and they'd be like, that's his daughter. Or that, like if we kissed and like people, I remember like walking down the streets in New York and people like whispering, and then I would start to hear things that weren't even, I would become paranoid and think everybody was making fun of me. And, I thought he was cool. He wasn't 63, but he was 43.
But you weren't 31.
That's true.
So there's that too.
So, I mean, I think that I just sort of rided it out, because it didn't last. But I mean,
to think of you saying righted instead of rode at 13 years old, I mean, it's the most adorable thing I can imagine.
I rode it out.
There you go.
I rode it out. But I guess, I mean, I had father issues. It seems like you just think old guys are hot.
You have grandfather issues. No,
yeah.
I think Natasha's making a really good and salient point, which is you are in no
one's going to change it.
Like it or not, whether it's fair or not, you have decided to be in a not what we would call a non-traditional relationship, specifically to the age. That's something that you're attracted to this guy. You guys fell in love. We'll take your word for it that the love is sincere. I believe you. So now so it's almost like you decided to marry someone who's like covered in tattoos and piercings, and you're going, And I feel like people stare. Well, they do stare. They are staring. They will stare. That's sort of like, that is part of the challenge of this relationship.
You can't make yourself seem older. It's still going to look like your fucking
I could
grandpa.
try.
Yeah, you could go gray. But I think the point is,
look at her. She's got like a My Little Pony blanket.
That's not helping anything. That's not helping anything. I think Natasha's making a really smart point, which is like, the way for you to make peace with it is to accept that this is not, that you will never get to the situation where society at large, as you walk down the street with this older man, will be like, now there's a regular couple. They will look, and they just will, and you have to kind of go like, I am not obvious. I mean, the advice is very obvious. You're not living or loving for other people. You're living and loving for yourself. And you just have to go, they will stare. I'm not being paranoid. People do think this is weird, but the decision maker in this, me and this man, we think that it's worth it because our love is so strong that we're going to just deal with the fact that people will judge us. People will judge you. They will judge you for the rest of this relationship, which will be, I would say, 4 to 6 more years. And that, that's just the way that it is.
Okay, I have a question. Does it bother him?
Oh, good question.
Not other people, like strangers. No.
But like friends and relatives.
Daughters.
I mean, it's like it's complicated, but it's not embarrassed. It's just like, I think it's both like how it looks to people because we know it's not. But I also don't want to like romanticize a potentially harmful relationship in a different circumstance or different situation. So I also feel kind of bad about that because I'm also not trying to like shock anybody or like be shocking or subversive or whatever.
This sounds like this is all about you kind of taking control of your own, image and how people perceive you, and also practicing about being independent of the good opinion of others because your relationship doesn't have anything to do with them.
Right.
So it's sort of like a spiritual thing that you're going to have to work on. But I do have a couple more questions. Do you want to marry him?
I don't know about that. I not really ever wanted to get married to anybody. So.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing I wanted to say is just a comment that my friend who dated old guys also told me. She said, just so you have this in your head, she said, an old man's touch is different than a young man's touch.
Was it good or bad?
It's different.
It's just different? What does the different mean?
They got that old saggy skin. It's like it's a different...
Well, she clearly doesn't care. She likes him. She's attracted to him.
She likes him for now because he probably has money and takes her to better
stuff.
Stop
it. No.
That's one of the... No one's dating an old poor guy. Okay? They're just not. And by the way, let me add, every single 65-year-old would be dating a under 30-year-old if they had money. But unfortunately, they're usually on like Social Security and they just don't have that kind of like
that option.
Extra money.
Oh, that's a pretty unromantic vision of intergenerational
it's actually
relationships.
A fact.
That's interesting.
Okay, let me ask her. Is he struggling for money?
I mean, money is can be romantic.
Thank you.
That's fair enough. Okay, they used to say in AA.
It's one of the positives.
They used to, but other positives are. I'm sure he's really intelligent. I'm sure he's got a lot of information. What did you say?
Wisdom.
Natasha used to say that older guys like to date younger women because they can like blow their minds with their references because they have so many. To be like, have you heard of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young? And you're like, I've never heard music like this.
No, but old guys love to pontificate. That's the one problem. You like get them talking, and then it's just like I would literally fall asleep when my old boyfriend was talking to me, like because his stories were so long.
Because he had a long list of references from which to pull. So okay, in AA they used to say, "What you think about me is none of my business," and I think that is like your mantra now. Like you are grown. You're not. So I think the lucky thing is you're not 21. Right?
Yeah, and you're 30, even though you have a unicorn blanket.
You're a grown woman, and you can make decisions to love who you want to love without there being any like question of like, maybe this is not fair even when it's a young woman, but it is a question that is raised in an intergenerational relationship when it's a very young woman usually. But even if it's a very young man, is this person being manipulated or coerced? At your age, you go, you know what? This woman is grown up and has a fully developed brain and can make this decision to love who she wants to love. So now you got to kind of like make peace with the fact that you're in a non-traditional relationship and what other people think of you is not really your business because you're happy. He's bringing you happiness. Do you want to have kids with this guy, you think?
No, I don't ever want to have kids.
So that simplifies things too, you know? A lot of the big like hairy questions, not to bring up body hair because I know that's probably an issue with him too, but a lot of the big hairy questions of dramatic intergenerational relationships, you're not really having to deal with. You don't want to get married, you don't have kids, and now you just love this guy and you're attracted to him. It's kind of like what you need to work on is not how to make this thing seem more normal, but how to make you I've had an epiphany. You haven't fully normalized it for yourself, which is why you still have some judgment about it for yourself, which is why you feel embarrassed. If you fully were at peace with the fact that you love this guy for who he is, for the age that he is, for the way that he looks, and the way that he looks standing next to you, then it wouldn't bother you in the same way. I think that's what you have to come to terms with and peace with is I am in an intergenerational relationship. It's unusual. I never saw myself here. I need to make peace with it so that I can stop worrying about what other people think of it. That is what I think.
And you're not a minor.
Right.
You're like a full-blown adult.
But he was a minor at the turn of the century in the coal mines of old Mississippi. I don't think they had coal mines.
It is kind of fucked up because, if Moshe ever dies, I'm not going to be able to get a 65-year-old because they're all dating 30-year-olds.
Well, I'm over here. I'm in your boat.
I would rather be with a 65-year-old than be with a 25-year-old, to be honest.
Interesting. Same here. Just kidding. Abby, I'm in your boat. I'm in your boat, Abby, which is that I'm dating currently a much, much older partner, and I decided to marry her, and we had a kid together. So I haven't been able to sidestep some of those issues.
Listen, I still look young. I know it. And if I was with a 63-year-old, people would think he was my grandpa too, Moshe.
There you go, girl. Abby, yeah, I think that's the secret is to. What do you think of that? Like to come to terms.
It's just strengthening your own. This is all about you strengthening your constitution.
Yep.
Not being embarrassed, and also holding your own when you meet his friends, when you meet his family, when you take him over to your family. Like don't turn into that insecure. Oh my God, what are we doing with your body language? And like act like kind of how you are right now. Like try to own it because it's what you're choosing.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And you could be a real housewife.
Yeah, you could be a real housewife. If you believed in the outdated concept of marriage, Abby, you could be a real housewife. Right.
But yeah, just know that it's. I remember from personal experience. I sometimes would think people were staring at me when they weren't. So I think it was just like so in my head.
Right.
So just know that that's probably 30% of it too.
That's true. I remember I once. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I surf. And I'm not great at it. And it's been a long time. It's taken me a long time to even become sort of decent at it. And as a result of that, and I have a big ego and I care what people think about me. As a result of that, I have been in my surfing life very self-conscious. And I remember this moment where I took Natasha to the beach in Huntington Beach, and I got there and the waves were, this early on when I first started surfing, the waves were too big for me. I was scared. And so I just kept the surfboard in the car and decided to go to the beach just with Natasha. And I kept seeing surfers walk by the car, and I was like, oh, they're looking in the car, seeing the surfboard in the car, and then realizing I didn't go surfing and thinking like, I'm a coward, I'm a geek, I suck at surfing. And then I was like, there's no universe in which these like teenage surfers from Huntington Beach give a single fuck about what some like guy is doing on the beach. Like I think keeping that in mind, that people, not only is it not your business what other people are thinking of you, but also that people are not thinking of you anywhere near as much as you are thinking of you, and making peace with who you've decided to love. I think that is the secret.
And get that guy to pay for as much as possible.
Amen. Get him to buy you a surfboard.
Get him to get you a new blanket.
Get him to buy me.
That's how I think. But I also like see a lot of TikToks and stuff of people recording people without them knowing and like making fun of them. And I always think of that.
You think he's going to be
videos? No, not him. Just like people, like strangers, like being like, oh, look at this person. Like, and I don't know, people, that freaks me out. Like, not that would happen to me, but I've seen it happen to like normal things and people making fun of them.
You worried you might end up on a TikTok where somebody's going, look how old this guy is?
Like Twitter, or I don't know. I'm online too much. I see too many people get humiliated by strangers. I also see TikToks of like intergenerational relationships where they're doing that weird dance where they go dun 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 or whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about? It's like he's old, I'm old, and they're like, that song, Laura? You're in the zeitgeist. Anyway, the point is.
Old guy's breath smells a little worse too. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
How's his breath smell? Pretty good?
It's pretty good.
There you go. She's got a sweet breath.
Does he have real teeth?
Yes.
She's got a sweet breathed older fella. I mean, I was thinking.
Does he powder his balls and like is he like really into like grooming?
She doesn't want to answer that question. That's like her admitting that they met at a Bonnie Raitt concert. Listen. I've been thinking about during this call, we should probably go, but I've been thinking about during this call, like, okay, once you get past the power dynamic and the weird sort of power stuff, because you're past that, then you go like, what is love for, right? Like love has like all these different things that it can provide you. Partnership, it can provide you stability, it can provide you family. And like,
a big part of it is like that you just have somebody in your corner that you feel comfortable with, that you love spending time with. And that stuff is for you. It's all that other stuff you're talking about. Like, what if we're on a TikTok? What if people judge us? It's just like, you just got to like decide like this companionship is worth whatever other people may or may not think of me. And I really do. The more I think about it, I think this is about your own insecurity about how weird this relationship is. It's not weird, but it's not that weird.
And look at what is out there competing against. It's like old guys aren't on their phone.
Right.
They own
They don't know how to operate their phone.
They got money. They have sophistication. They're not like, they weren't like ruined by society. Like, the generation, your generation.
They were, though. They were ruined by like the weird parts of their society. You think boomers are historically known for being like really cool with society?
No, but I think their brains probably work better.
They
ruined
they're not
society.
On TikTok. Did he vote for Reagan?
No.
Oh, no.
No. There you go. He seems like a good guy.
There's cool old dudes. Okay. Well, listen, good luck.
Yeah,
Just
good luck.
Try to shake it off a little bit.
It's much like your partner's favorite musician says, shake it off. You just got to shake it off. Does he like Taylor Swift?
Okay. I don't know.
Do you like Taylor Swift?
I think she's fine.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Too.
Got an old soul on the line here. There we go. All right. You know what?
Right.
It's much like the artist whose concert you met at said, let's give him something to talk about. How about love?
Oh my god.
All right, good luck out there. Good luck out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
hun.
See ya.
Bye.
I bet it was Dolly Parton.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, what's funny is
Young guys seem like they might be so dumb, though. I don't think I could ever do it.
It's so arbitrary. Like if he was 50 and she was 30, I think we wouldn't have even reacted. I think like there's a cutoff line where people's sensibilities start to get triggered. And it kind of like it is weird. It is weird when you see a couple like that. But honestly, it's weird because you decided something. You, the viewer of the couple, decided like it's like, what the hell does it have to do with us?
So here's what's crazy is what year were you like coming of age? If you're 63, you were coming of age like
I think that in the 70s.
Or maybe even the 60s.
No. Impossible. No, the 60s?
What year is someone who's 63?
What year were they born? They were born in 1960.
Okay, so
in 78, they were like at their peak of their powers. 1980, they were really kicking it through the 80s.
Right, as opposed to us, who we're kind of like we were kids in the 80s. She wasn't even born.
Right. I mean,
I don't know. It just feels like that would be really hard to.
How old's Rick Rubin? I bet a 31-year-old would date Rick Rubin,
of course.
And he's probably 60, right? It's got to be 60. He's 60. So there you go. It's just dating Rick Rubin.
Okay. I would date Rick Rubin.
What if it was Rick Rubin? She's like, I don't want to say. It was the Wu-Tang Clan. All right. Let's do some secrets, Natasha.
Let's do it.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
You know what one of the bad things about not drinking is?
What's that?
When you get like a nice drink at a restaurant, it's usually like juice-based, and then you drink the whole thing in one sip, and you feel like you're an 8-year-old going, Mommy, I want something sweet. I don't want something sweet, Mommy. I want something that's sipping slow.
Well, you might like adaptogens, Moshe, because that is what hop water has. Hop water has become a staple in our house. It's so refreshing, so delicious. It's also great in mocktails, no alcohol.
It's a non-alcoholic sparkling hop water created with those adaptogens and nootropics for added mood-boosting benefits. And best part of all, you sip it slow.
Hop water. It is spelled HOPWTR. It has no calories, no carbs, no sugar.
It's gluten-free. It's keto approved. And it's Whole30 friendly too. I don't know what Whole30 is, but I bet it's important.
And also, it doesn't taste like those weird fake sugar drinks. I mean, it's delicious. I loved it.
Hop water is the healthy way to hops, and we just want you to try it. We have a special limited time offer just for our listeners. Get 20% off your first purchase plus free shipping when you order 24 cans or more.
That's HOPWTR.com/honeymoon.
To get that special offer, just go to that URL. Once again, HOPWTR.com/honeymoon. Don't wait. Order today. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
Do you know that for over 7 years, I've been paying redundant subscription fees to Pornhub and Brazzers?
Wow, that sounds very pricey, Moshe.
Well, thanks to Rocket Money, I was able to look up all of my subscriptions, and they save me money by canceling them for me. They do all the hard work.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Now, I've heard comedians talking about this. I've heard friends talking about this. We did it. There was like $70 that I didn't even know, like every month worth of things I was paying to different places. And guess what? I'm not paying it anymore.
And she's not alone. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year.
Stop throwing your money away, please. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/honeymoon.
That's rocketmoney.com/honeymoon.
rocketmoney.com/honeymoon.
Hey, Moshe and Natasha. I notice most women say Natasha first. But anyhow, I work at my secret is, I work at a comedy club. I'm pretty sure you both perform there. And I was taking a smoke break, and a woman laying in the bushes said, propositioned me. And she happened to not be your typical meth head looking lady. And so anyhow, I took her up on her offer, and then midway through, she says her dirty talk was, fuck me, give me a baby. And the part of the secret that I would never tell anyone to my grave,
It was hot.
and I hope it doesn't happen, but I finished in this woman. And so someday there might be a kid tracking me down. I don't know. So, yeah, I would never tell anyone that I fucked a bush lady and eject inside. So, thanks. Love you guys.
Yeah, you lost me at a woman laying in the bushes. Every other part of that story felt like very relatable. I get where he was coming from. I got off track at laying in the bushes. What does that mean?
Right, she's hiding in the bushes, trying to find someone to impregnate her. Asks for it. I mean,
to get her off the streets.
No, he said she didn't seem homeless, but imagine the situation was reversed. That I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette. A man jumps out of the bushes, says he wants to impregnate me. We're basically in a courtroom by now, right? Yeah, he's raping me.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to reverse the. I mean, it never would happen. Men don't do that. No, I'm joking. It would you would have run away screaming, blowing a whistle. Like there's no.
What if she's looking for like famous comedians to impregnate her so she can?
And she ended up fucking the bus boy at the Funny Bone in St. Louis. I mean, I get it though. I mean, there's something so hot about a penthouse forum situation occurring in reality, just someone randomly propositioning you.
Mm-hmm.
It is
from
hot.
The bushes.
It's just hot.
Would you do it at the
single?
zenith of your idiocy?
Very possible.
And then if she
finish
said,
inside of her, I wouldn't have done that.
You wouldn't have done that.
No. But
she was like, she was so hot, and she was like, come inside. It's okay. I can take care of it. Give me a baby. You wouldn't do it?
I feel like my anxiety at that.
You'd pull out?
I would pull out. You
might anger her, though.
My pull-out game was strong, and I don't care if I'm going to anger her. I'm sorry. I don't want to make you angry. Here's a child. What are you, crazy? I didn't want to upset her, so I have a dependent for 18 years. My pull-out game was tough. Extremely strong.
Right.
I never, literally never finished inside of a woman. Never. One time, upon the final thrust, the condom burst open, and that was the only time. So I was wearing protection, but I thrust it a little bit too much, or perhaps I didn't leave enough air. And I remember the look on her face as she realized it, and the look on my face. There's a very weird facial expression to have been having sex, and then like 1 second after you come, it's just mutual horror. We both were like, no one was happy. And she just said, I think I'm going to go. And then she left. I've never seen her since.
Went right to that Rite Aid.
Hopefully.
Get her morning after pill.
Hopefully she went to Rite Aid and not Kids R Us. And I got a little baby.
Immediately went shopping for like nappies. All right. Well, listen, honey, That was brave.
Brave indeed. Brave and dumb.
Bush lady without a condom, very impressive.
I get it. I do get it, but damn, the part where that just, people like to live on the edge.
Yeah, maybe don't do that again.
Yeah, I would say don't do it again.
Because I think, I will say just from experience, having friends, that is a hard one. That's way worse than co-parenting, is co-bushing. No, it's like, I got someone pregnant. We didn't know each other, and I'm trying to get visitation rights.
I'm still
she's
confused.
Trying to get money. That is like the worst configuration.
I'm still confused. She's in a bush. That's the part.
She was waiting for guys to like take a smoke break.
But he said she was in the bushes lying down. Yeah, but you're right about visitation. That would be hard. You got to go to the bush. You got to pick up the kids from the bush. You got to bring them back to your house. They're going to be confused. They're going to be like, what are these hard things on the side of the house here? You'd be like, those are walls, honey. They're like, oh, I'm used to foliage.
Is that even a thing that women fucking wait for men in bushes?
No, of course not.
All right. I don't know what the kids are doing.
All right. Well, let's hear what the kids are doing in this next secret.
Hi, Natasha. Hi, Moshe. I'm currently in a hotel room in a foreign country, and I was listening to your podcast, and it brought up a secret for me that I wanted to share. I was friends with this guy, and I was starting to develop feelings for him, but I was with someone else, and I really didn't want to develop feelings for him. And what solved it finally was I was at his house that I shared with one of my other friends. I was in his bathroom, and he had a coffee pot in his bathroom. And I just thought, I can never, ever again find this guy fuckable. Which is actually very convenient for me because I shouldn't have found him fuckable to begin with. But I just wanted to share with you guys. Thanks. You guys.
Listen, these little clues are so important. And those little things, they're gifts from the universe. And you're like, oh, right. I am physically attracted to this person in some way, but this would be a horrible relationship. And always remember that. Smell the coffee. Think of him, having it in the shower or like taking a shit, drinking his coffee. And it's like, it'll always help you get. Honestly, it's kind of hard to be friends with someone after that.
Yeah, I once went on a date with a girl. I thought she was really cool, and I went to pick her up at her house. And I went into her house to pick her up for the date, and she had a pink leather-bound Bible open with tabs on the side, like she had been and highlights, and she had been reading it.
Ooh!
And studying it until the moment I arrived. And I was thinking to myself, I can date a girl with a Bible. I can date a girl who reads the Bible. I can't date a girl who reads the Bible so much she's got a pink one with tabs on it and a highlighter in the moments leading up to our date. That's a little too religious.
But what if she thought, because you were a religious major, maybe she
thought it was.
Maybe you had told her what you majored in college, and she was trying to impress you.
No, this was a relationship with Christ thing.
Ooh.
All right, let's hear another secret.
Yeah, I like God, Jesus, but not Christ.
Wait, I don't get it.
I just can't get with people if they say the word Christ.
Oh, Christ itself is a deal breaker, but Jesus is you're in.
Jesus, I can understand. Jesus Christ has a place.
How about the Christ Jesus?
No.
How about he, the Christ himself?
No.
Okay. What about the Holy Spirit?
No.
Okay.
Hi, Tosh. Hi, Moshe. Very big fan. First time secret leaver. Pretty rude secret, I guess. I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of a slut. I hook up with a lot of people that probably aren't worthy of me. And so in those situations, when somebody tries to initiate anything with my butt, and like, I know there's nothing like detectable that's wrong, but like, I know I have shat fairly recently. I do get a little kick out of how demeaning that is and the fact they don't know it. Yeah, have a good day.
Okay.
The fact that they don't know it.
She's saying when a guy's playing with her butt close,
a one night stand,
close to her having made caca.
Yeah.
She thinks it's hot because like touch my shit.
Her.
Touch my shithole, you little pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I get what's going on there. Maybe that's why they're touching it though. Maybe they're into that.
You think guys are into the taste of shit in their mouth?
No, more like the demeaning. You know, why do people like butt things? Is because it's kind of taboo, right? So maybe
like they want to send their person on an errand.
It's just like dirty in a hot way. Send their person on an errand.
Like send your lover on an errand. Like, hey, go lick my asshole.
I don't understand what you're saying, but I like it's very hot. Wow.
Well, she said.
Send your person on an errand. Go lick my asshole. Christ Jesus, what are you talking about? Natasha, do you want to defend your thought or do you want to do another caller?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, well, first of all, I'm confused because she said, and they don't know it. They don't know that she's taking a shit. Aren't they going to know soon when they
I think
taste her asshole?
I think well, don't you, you wipe, don't you? You're a wiper, right? I've always thought of you as a wiper. I mean, what do you mean? Everybody shits. I mean, what? No matter who you're with, you're at least 12 hours from their most recent shatting. I mean, it's not like people aren't aware that that's what that hole is.
You could clean it, though.
Yeah, you should clean it. But she's maybe saying like, oh, I barely cleaned it. And this is getting dirtier than I anticipated.
Lick my asshole.
She didn't say that.
That's what she's meaning, though.
That's what you keep saying.
All right, well.
You keep saying that, and I'm loving it over here. All right, let's do another caller, shall we? Let's ask this next caller if they like semi-clean analinguis. Analinguis? Analinguis. Analingues. Analingues would be a cool pen name as a book. Analingues. The author of From the Ferns to the Road.
You're not pronouncing it right, though.
Analingues? I think that is the correct.
It's not analingus? Like cunnilingus?
It's analinguis. I think analinguis. Let's ask Jenna from Seattle.
Wait. Oh, we're taking a call.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
We're gonna see what she says. But I'd still say it's analinguis.
This might put her off. I don't know if that's an opener.
Well, let's see what she looks like. We can tell almost immediately. Oh, she's down. She's totally down.
She can get into this.
Hey there.
Hey, we have a question for you, and it's a dirty question. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
You know the part where you lick someone's butt?
Mm-hmm.
What's the term for that? Like the Latin for that? How would you? Analinguis?
No, there's no
analingus, like
there's
cunnilingus.
No W.
It's
exactly what I said.
What was I saying?
Analinguis. You kept adding a W for. Do you say? Do you want me to perform cunnilingus? Sad. Good thing you never said that to me.
Sad for who? You're the one that has to deal with it.
Moshe didn't graduate from 8th grade, so he's like missing some swaths of knowledge.
Analingus? You said righted instead of road today. Don't fucking talk shit to me. All right, sorry about that. How are you? How can we help? Thank you for your help, by the way.
Yeah, of course. So I'm great. Super excited to be here. Fan of both of y'all. So my question, very generally, like the big picture question, and then there's like a lot of little details that might inform your advice.
Okay.
But I am currently pregnant.
Congrats.
I have a very difficult relationship with my father and his wife.
Okay.
My mother passed like 11 years ago. So they are on my side like the only grandparents to my child. And I don't really expect the answer to I don't expect them to be like super supportive, so I don't really know how to tell them. So the question is, how and when do I tell my mostly estranged father and stepmother that they're going to be grandparents?
Can
you define the estrangement a little bit? Is it like you have any interest in repairing it, or is it beyond repair?
I tried to repair it. They're just like not people who are super they just don't care how their actions affect other people. And it's just like their little feedback loop of like what Ben and Debbie want. And
fucking Ben and Debbie, man. Fucking Ben and
Debbie. And
do you feel like they just kind of are codependent and they, you're the enemy and they're
100%. Like my brother and I have like been vilified, like
there's this narrative that we are like ungrateful, but like my father's relationship to us like definitely changed. She remarried about a year after my mother passed. Like my parents were still married when my mom died, and there was like no space to grieve. So it was just like this whole, he just rushed into this new life with this new person, which like was just like super traumatic. Like there was no space. And then like the glossing over became like a point of contention. I worked really hard to repair it. I didn't want to like lose both my parents in like the loss of my mother, but it really just wasn't reparable. And then so like the situation that like we've arrived at now is I talk to them like just enough to be like not considered a total ingrate. Like I call on like big holidays or birthdays. And I try to answer timely when they reach out to me, which is like super infrequently.
Does she have any other grandkids?
She does not have any grandkids. She has 3 children, 2 of whom are married, one of whom is getting married in May. But I haven't heard any word on grandkids on that front.
All right.
Do you feel like you and your brother are a little resentful that he got married so quickly after your mom died?
It was weird. Like it was stressful because it like didn't give us space to grieve our mom, because the woman he married didn't really, she like, it's a bizarre situation. Like she came into our family home and like ran an estate sale of my mother's things.
All right.
After my mom died.
But she was like, trying to help out your dad.
Right, by getting rid of my mom.
Okay, hold on. Let me jump in. I have some thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, I've got some thoughts here.
Because I was just kind of saying, like, sometimes, you know, if the woman dies, he's got to do what he has to do, and maybe some of it's on you. But I'm just, like, thinking devil's advocate. But
yeah, there's, like, a bunch of other pieces, and, like, I don't necessarily want to get bogged down in that, but like we can if it's like super germane. Like I went to counseling with my dad to try to repair it, like things I asked to keep in that estate sale, which like they told me very last minute was happening. That and like sucks. My dad had been like, we're gonna keep the house, and then he was like, wait, I can't afford to keep the house, we're getting rid of the house.
And it's so traumatic of you, and it's like to not, and also for her to not realize like you lost a mom, and it's like it's a lot. And go ahead though, Moshe.
So like
I have I've got some thoughts. They have formulated. I have some experience with this, and so does Natasha, actually, in a weird way. My first thought is it's so easy for us. First of all, I want to say I'm glad we started this conversation with analingus because it seems like it really
now Moshe knows how to pronounce his favorite sex.
It seems like it really connects to this to the severity and the seriousness of this conversation.
For sure.
To start, it's easy for us to say, first of all, congratulations on being pregnant. That's awesome. And I'm sorry that you lost your mom. I experienced that too. I lost my dad super young. I was 20 when that happened. And I have a bunch of thoughts here. One is that this kind of thing happens all the time. This like weird thing with stuff and like nastiness that occurs around things and stuff is very super common. And I'm sure there's a million things that have nothing to do with the estate sale that also inform how much you resent these people. And so this is I just want to disclaimer this by saying this is so easy for me to say from the outside because I don't have any emotional tie to it. But my first thought was how quickly your dad found love or a partner is it's so natural that it seemed sacrilege and disgusting and dishonoring your mom, but it also was probably in some ways part of his, whether he did it well or not, his process of grieving. Like somehow, even if you thought it wasn't an appropriate.
Well, it's his non-process. It's skipping grieving.
Exactly.
As someone who knows my father well.
No, exactly.
No, but it's even his version of it.
Yeah, but even
it's called not acknowledging your feelings.
Even that,
it's unhealthy.
Yeah, that is his process of grieving. Even an unhealthy process of grieving is the process. So there's one way in which that is true. Now, the thing that he is responsible for fully, because is the nasty and unacceptable ways that he's treated you and your brother since then, right? I just acknowledge you know this already. You've done this in counseling, but those things are his response. Now, Deb, it's kind of like Deb's a B word. What are you going to do about Deb? You know, she doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't give a fuck about you. She's just living her life. And then she found what was his name? Bud? Whatever his name. Ben. And they're doing their thing. Deb's like, you know, whatever. Here's the most important question you have to ask yourself, in my opinion. Again, very easy for me to say, just having dipped into your life for 5 seconds. Do you want, 2 questions. Do you want your child to have a relationship with old Ben? And do you think your child would, and is a related question, do you think your child would benefit from a relationship with old Ben?
Mm-hmm.
So that, right, like that's been thought about. Obviously, I don't think my father is like the kind of person that I want around my kids. Like this kind of like emotional unawareness and like his self-serving is like not great. I've also seen, you know, people who have difficult family structures and a grandchild's like really done a lot of repair work. And like, I would never want to put that on a child or set myself up to have that expectation, but I don't, it's like weighing, being like, okay, I want distance from these people and I've kept my distance from these people. And then am I like antagonizing them and making it worse? Because I was like, oh, like, so the other piece of this is like, we weren't planning on being pregnant. Everyone who asked, we were like, no, not for us. And then whoopsies.
Yeah, it happens.
Decided that
analinguist leads to something else, and there you go.
It sure does sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
So when we were trying to decide what to do, because like this wasn't our plan, like we'd always kind of been like, if we found ourselves in this situation, we would terminate. We spoke to a lot of friends who were in like similar situations as us, like working class people, like don't own a home, still renting, and like kind of tried to figure out how they were making it work, because a lot of it was just like the logistics of having a child for us. And like 100% of the answers was like support from their families. My dad and Debbie, like the only reason this is germane, both received a lot of support from their families. Like they are not like bootstraps pulled up people.
Right.
Like they came from being given things. So it's not asking for something that they didn't receive. So I called them and I was like, my husband and I are thinking about, like, even though I was already pregnant, I was like, my husband and I are thinking about maybe we're just toying with the idea of starting a family. Like, would y'all, because they live across the country, be able to help us like by coming here a little bit and giving us a hand? Or like, is there any like financial help? Because some people's parents are just like, you know,
I get it. Yeah.
Do that. And my dad just like launched into this whole thing about how his new business isn't making money. And that was like, I was like, okay, cool.
Got it.
And that.
Were you asking him for money or asking him to move close to you?
Not move close, but just like if they'd want to be involved, like just trying to gauge any level of involvement.
How much they were going to support you in this decision and in this new chapter in your life.
Just if like they felt like supportive of that decision, and it just became a conversation about my dad's business,
which was very clear. He was giving you an answer, which was no, you can't count. You can't
100% realize. And then like in subsequent conversations with them, they never asked like, oh, have you made a decision? Are you still considering it? Like it never came up again. It's just like, that was the thing. And that's like part of what's given me so much hesitation, is like, I don't expect it to be a positive reaction.
Right. Got it.
Would you call them and tell them if you were moving?
I did that last time, and my dad suggested I break up with my now husband instead of moving with him.
Got it.
But but my point was, maybe you could treat it like you would any big life change, that you would tell him, just so he knows you're keeping him abreast, you know?
Right. And last time the reaction to that was so bad that like, I don't know that I do.
All right. Let me jump in.
I see. So should you even tell him?
Okay. You should tell him, in my opinion. You definitely should tell him, because he will find out.
Can't you just send him a picture of herself with the stomach?
Sure. Any way you want to do it is fine. You have to tell him, because he's going to find out, and then that's going to create drama. What's the point of drama? Unless you want drama, because I get that you resent your dad. Why would you not resent your dad? He's done many, many things that have made him a resentment fodder, right? I mean, it sounds like he kind of, sucks. And Deb, we know Deb sucks. So it's like, I think you tell him. I think you accept, like, you know, just like losing a parent young isn't fair. Having a shitty a dad whose reaction to that death is that's awful and turns his personality into something curdled that you can't recognize, that's also unfair. But it is what the situation that you have. A dad that could help you, but has made it clear he won't probably be helping you. That's the situation you have.
And he's got a little woman in his ear,
a tiny little Deb,
telling him to
little
not,
Debbie.
Sometimes you can tell things are charged because the people are like, operating almost as a couple, not as one person.
Right.
So when you're talking to him, you're talking to Deb.
So this is what you've got. These are the facts that you have. You have a dad who isn't stepping to the plate as a father to you and a theoretical grandfather to your child in the way that you would like. You've got a relationship with your dad that is anything but what you would want. You've got a dad who said, I probably won't financially or emotionally support you, but you still want to maintain contact with him because you haven't cut off all ties to him, right? If you're going to maintain contact with him and not say, you know what, I'm done, I'm doing a firm boundary where I'm not going to he's out of my life, then I think my opinion would be you tell him, and you tell him and you don't tell him with any expectations. You just send him a message, send him an email or a picture. I'm pregnant. We're very excited. And all this stuff
not
about
like I don't expect you to help me.
Right.
Like nothing extra.
All this stuff about like anticipating his reaction or even like going into so easy for me to say because his reaction doesn't affect me emotionally in any way. But from the outside, this whole this whole focus on what his reaction will be, it's like you keep going to the well that was dry a long time ago and expecting to pull up a bucket of water. There's no water there, and so you keep going. I'm going to go to the well, but I don't know why I'm going to the well because there's no water there. There's no water there. So don't go to the well expecting to get a bucket of water and then become disappointed when you're still thirsty at the end of it. Go to a different well. If you want to have your emotional needs, what, you like my analogy or is it stupid?
No, I just thought of a really funny manipulation.
What is it?
She wants him to help.
What's that?
She should name the kid after him.
We're Jewish, so we don't do that. We don't name after living people.
That is very funny.
But you know what I was realizing too? I like your well analogy, Moshe. I think it's helpful. But another thing I will say, I don't know how open you are to him being a part of it, but you just never know.
You never know
who is going to be the good grandparent, because we had 4 of them, and definitely the people that we thought would be the very worst were the very best.
Well, that's why I started this.
So it's just,
That's why I started this conversation by asking you if you think you want your father to have a relationship with your child, and if you think your child would benefit from that relationship. Because the truth is, based on our experience, and this is very anecdotal, you truly cannot tell when a deadbeat will turn into a good grandparent. I mean, Natasha's dad.
Yeah, and also he's emotionally stunted, but that didn't mean that it took away from my child being held by her grandpa, and it made everyone laugh, and he would sing her a song and she would gurgle and she always remembers it. And I don't think that you don't need to have like every grandparent, every caretaker in your life needs to be completely evolved spiritually. Like people, as long as you feel like they're safe, your kid's going to be physically safe. I think family's good because it's a feeling.
Yeah, Natasha's dad was absent. Is it okay for me to say that?
Sure. You mean my childhood?
Her whole childhood. He was just not around. He was just not good at being a father. And for some weird reason, when we had our child, little Adolf, he was just there all the time.
He would fly.
He would fly in.
He would have to take like 2 planes from Florida because he can't shit on a plane.
Yeah, that's true.
So he would do a layover. He's like an old Italian man. He would do a layover in Chicago so he could shit. I mean, he was like very dedicated.
He was dedicated, and he was
coming here even though he hated flying. He was getting old. He couldn't walk. He had gout.
He was a good grandparent for the time that he was in our child's life, and she has fond memories of him. So now I want to just say, the reason I asked you, do you think your child benefit? It is a legitimate reaction to the circumstances you found yourself in to say, I don't want this man in my life in a significant way. I'm not saying you should have this guy in your life or not. That's really a personal decision. But if you think it would be nice to have him in my child's life and I think he could benefit from it, it's possible that Ben will surprise you in the way he's able to step to the plate, and in a way that might even make you sad and resentful, because you might be like, where were you when I needed you? But it is possible that Ben will step to the plate as a grandparent in ways you couldn't anticipate.
And all you can do is give him the information.
Exactly. You just present him with, if you've decided you want him in your life. If you say, no, this person doesn't belong in my life. He doesn't deserve this relationship. That's something different.
And I think Moshe brings up a good point. That's a lot of drama to deal with.
Yeah.
And if you're up for it and you want to cut him out and you want to like do it, then do it. But like, that's a lot. And I would only consider that if the person were mentally unstable or really, getting in your head or something.
My thing would be, if I had decided, if I was you in your shoes and I decided I love my dad, but he's just toxic and I don't really want to foster this relationship with him and my child, I would say that just letting him know, knowing that you're a strong woman and that in the future you'll be able to set whatever boundaries you need to set in terms of how often your dad can see your kid. I'd send an email, an uncharged email without any emotional expectations. Hey, just wanted to let you and Deb know we're pregnant. We're very excited. That's it.
Oh, how are you going to pay for that? We're very excited. You just kind of stay on that realm.
I have a question about that because that's like also with like the capacity that they have for drama and the little circle that they live in where they talk to each other and get each other wound up, I think. That I worry that if I like that, however I tell them will also be judged.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, like what can you
Who
say?
Cares?
All you're saying is we're happy and I wanted you to know.
Why does it? Of course
you don't have to say like as their grandparent and step grandparent or you just.
I wouldn't even say step grandparent, like that.
Well, who cares
if they decide to?
Who cares
Less is more.
Who cares if they judge you? What does that have to do with you? They judge you.
You're allowed one sentence.
No, but really,
and then at the end say we're very happy.
Play it out for me. What is the negative consequences of their little hen circle creating drama and their reaction to you telling them?
The negative consequence is that it just like gives, I think, more Debbie than my dad. Like. Cannon fodder to be like, like she didn't even want to call us.
Who cares?
I see what you're saying. Like you should, if he sends an email.
However you do, it's going to be wrong. Who cares? You're not.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Kind of how I feel. However I do it is going to be wrong. Whenever I did it was going to be wrong.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great news? However you do, it's going to be wrong. So however you do it is going to be as right as any other way. You don't have to have the pressure of doing it perfectly because no matter what you do, Deb is going to be like, well, that wasn't the way I would have done. Who fucking cares? I mean, again.
And then she calls him on his birthday or the next time they talk.
Exactly.
And then he says, oh, that's how you tell me?
I mean.
And then she said, oh, I didn't know how to say it, but I just wanted you to know.
I had an idea of how to tell them.
Tell us. What is it?
So my idea was a week from today, I have my 20-week scan and like assuming everything looked good. The last time I had one, they like sent me to my phone like pictures and video from it. And I was just like I was gonna like call my dad and be like, hey, I'm gonna send you something and like send it to him and then be like, we're pregnant.
I mean,
and
listen.
then I expect him only to be like, that's great, Jen, and then to hang up.
That's fine. I mean, this is the beauty. This is the difficult and tragic beauty of having our expectations set appropriately. You do not expect. This is the back to my well analogy, which I feel like was really brushed right over, and it was like brilliant and genius. This is you know what to expect at the well. You know what you're going to get, and so however you choose to do it is going to be right. And if he and going into it knowing that the possibilities of you getting a rude or disinterested or emotional, you've decided that you want to tell him, obviously, and you don't want to keep this a secret. And I think that's the right decision because that just seems like so much work.
What about her calling him first?
My point here is any way you do it is not going to work, and so it does not matter how you do it. And so I would just say, how would I do it if my dad was a normal human being? And then just do it that way. And then when he doesn't react like a normal human being, that's not your business. Listen, it's going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt. It's going to piss you off. It's going to bring up old wounds, all that stuff. But it's not your business. You can't negotiate with somebody that doesn't share the same rules of life as you. The only appropriate response to we're pregnant is, oh my God, honey, I'm so happy. Congratulations. Anything else isn't normal anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what it is. You go in there, you go, okay, I'm going to get who cares what my reaction is? You let go. It's all like old John Rose used to say, my old AA sponsor. I've said it 5,000 times. You show up, do what's in front of you, let go of the results, and pay attention. That's all you have to do here. That's your whole job.
And definitely letting go a little bit of the outcome, for sure.
You have that. Let go of the results. You just let go of the results because you cannot control the results. You have it sounds like, I'm sorry, not a very good dad, and that sucks, and that is the set of cards that you've been dealt, and they're harsh cards, but but guess what? You don't need to pay that trauma forward to your kid. You've learned all these great lessons that you can give your own kid, and you can stop that cycle. And that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah. I think that all makes sense and was generally the direction I'm leaning. It's like sometimes hard just like not to let hopefulness creep in when you're like, I know it's not like, it's probably not going to be good.
Of course.
Which I think is part of like a self-preservation mechanism to be like, well, if I don't say anything, then it can't be bad.
Can you leave 10% of the pie open for hopefulness?
5%? 1%?
Like 3%?
We can do 3. You really are Jewish. You really are Jewish. That's great. Yeah. We'll do 3%. We can agree on 3%. I mean, I think that's right. When you are out of hope, the only possible outcome is to be pleasantly surprised. Like you're either going to have when you're totally out of hope for somebody, they'll either continue to do what you already know they're going to do, or you'll be pleasantly surprised. And that's about 3%.
Or the universe will do away with one of them and you won't have to deal with them anymore.
Oh, Deb. Let's hope Deb goes first. That's what I think we can all agree on that.
All right. Well, good luck, honey.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Glad you got to talk that out.
Before you go, I have one last thought.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about starting your own family, I think about this all the time. It's like I know family tree is what people use, but it's like it's more like a fungal, like a mycelium branch, because it's all of a sudden it's not like you break the branch to the rest of your family, but you start a whole new line of your own little unit, and your financial situation, all that stuff's real and it's hard, but it's not as significant as the strength of this new branch on this new line that you're creating. You're creating your own little family where you can find joy and you can find emotional fulfillment, and you can give that emotional fulfillment, and you can be the thing that you're not getting. Like, that's the beauty of starting your own family. And I wish you tons of luck in starting something that is like positive and beautiful and fulfilling for you.
Thank you so much. Should be exciting.
Yes. Almost as exciting as analingus.
Mazel tov, honey.
Yeah, mazel tov.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully that helped.
Analingus.
Why can't you say that?
Well, listen, my joke I thought was funny was that an author's pen name would be funny if it was analinguist.
Right.
Analingus.
It sounds pretty, but that's not the name of the act.
Okay, you're right about that. I'll give you that. Speaking of the act, I want to go do it to you right now. So why don't we end this episode?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
I love you.
I love you too.